Hi everyone, Coach Keon here from Action Coach Guyana. We are continuing our interview series, having conversations with dynamic business owners and leaders of organizations and companies here in Guyana. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with someone who is leading the charge when it comes to education, education provision here in Guyana, and someone who I've known for quite some time, and I know he is very much a staunch advocate for education. Without further ado, please welcome Dr. Brian O'Toole from Nations Inc. Dr. O'Toole, good afternoon. How are you doing, sir?
Good, Keon. Good to see you again.
Likewise. So, first of all, Dr. Tool, we are streaming live on our social media platforms. So I would just like to say welcome to all our viewers. And of course, they support what we're doing by liking, loving, and sharing our content. So, can we just let the persons who are viewing just get a bit of an insight of who is Dr. Brian O'Toole?
Yeah, Keon. So my wife and I came to Guyana 42 years ago, 1978, a very different Guyana, but also one that was struggling at that time. We came to be of assistance to the Baha'i community because in the Baha'i faith, we don't have priests and missionaries. So we came very soon, fell in love with the country, started to work at the Teacher Training College, University of Guyana. Then we started a program for people with disabilities, and 22 years ago started School of Nations and all the tertiary classes as well.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So, in 1978, is that correct? I remember the year
Yeah,
correct? Wow.
78. Yeah.
Definitely, you've had the privilege of experiencing two Guyanas, as you mentioned. I think that's really, really awesome, um, and it really gives a good perspective of how we have evolved over those years. Now, you did mention that you started a program since then, and it evolved now into Nations Inc. Can you tell us about Nations Inc.?
Sure. We started School of Nations because our boys went to one of the top schools in Guyana. They would come home every night and say they missed two, three, four, sometimes five teachers. So we thought, well, can we try and do some alternatives? So we started with five students. Now it's grown. Now there's 4,300 students attached to Nations, both at the school and also with all the tertiary courses we offer in collaboration with Cambridge University, London University, the University of Bedfordshire, University of Hertfordshire. ABE offers programs all over the world in 232 centers, and we now are the second or third biggest of those programs in the world. So what started as a very small project has now evolved, and we're delighted by that and excited by it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hu. I thought that was really inspiring. And I can sense your passion for education. I just want to take a stab at this. What do you think drives your passion for continuous improvement in education for Guyana?
I think the only hope for any country in the world is education. You could win the lottery tomorrow, and 2 days later, you could lose all the friends that you thought you had, and suddenly get a couple of hundred you didn't know that you did have. The only thing that no one can take away from us is education. And amidst these unparalleled times of this pandemic, we're delighted that now we've had the chance to put every single one of our programs 100% online, so that in terms of our tertiary classes, the attendance actually is now higher than when the students had to come to classes.
Oh,
So we know it's a tremendous challenge to everyone. It's a new technology. We spent 10 days over the Easter holiday of training all of our teachers in this new technology. And so now they have programs, the school program is on all day from 9 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's also recorded so people can go to the cloud and download it again later, so that at least a very real determined effort has been made to meet some of the challenges. But quite frankly, I don't think we've begun to assess the psychological damage that's been done to our children. And I am just so grateful to our teachers that they've been able to put out these classes, not just for the academic content, but also just so that the children see their teachers, they see their friends, and they see that someone and some group are trying to do something about it. And just to share as well, Keon, we now have a partnership with NCN. They are now going to show our online classes every day, starting on Monday from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And this is completely pro bono, but it's our attempt to reach out to meet those people who can't afford to send their child to a private school.
Wow. Definitely a demonstration of your continuous commitment towards raising the level and standard of education and education delivery here in Guyana, and that's very, very commendable, Dr. O'Toole. Now, we know and we understand that COVID-19 is creating a stir in the normal way of operations. You did begin to allude to some of the measures you have put in place already, such as having all the classes online. Um, if you can give us in a nutshell, how has this really impacted Nations Inc. and what other measures you have implemented to address COVID-19?
Okay, well, Nations, as you know, covers many, many different areas. It covers from preschool all the way up to MBAs. So in terms of the school, for those people that have internet, then they're able to access all the classes as per normal. So all the academic classes, but also art and music and drama and PE. We know parents have told us that they have blackouts. Nations has no control over blackouts. Parents also say that their internet is limited. And we know that. We don't pretend that this is the cure for everyone. But we also know that hundreds and hundreds of people feel that this is something of real value. And in fact, in the past 2 weeks, we've had 185 calls from parents at other schools asking if they can come over, because they say that the school they attend doesn't provide either that or in some cases anything. And then you have the huge problem. How do you possibly promote a child to the next grade if they've missed the whole of a term? That would be totally unfair to that child, other children in the program, in the class, and to the whole school system and to the teachers.
Yeah, that is definitely very interesting with regards to the fact that some schools have not been able to adapt quick enough to be able to continue to provide students with the necessary education, especially this is the third term, and this is usually the deciding term whether you go, no, there's a next term coming up, but it's usually very important term into prepping the child for the NGSA examination and also preparing for CXC.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to see what will be the output of the students given the impact of COVID-19 and, as you mentioned, the psychological impact of what is happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, if we follow what's in the media, there was a very articulate letter from a young man at Queen's complaining about the provision, as he understood it, for CSEC. And as the messages go out, they seem to change. What Cambridge has done, because we do Cambridge fifth form and Cambridge sixth form exams, they now have told us that they gave us a window of about 6 weeks to send off samples of the students' work, mock exams, so that they have something very firm that they can base the certificate that they will award on. And that seems to me a very fair situation. Students were given many weeks' notice. So now actually they have a very good chance of giving the best possible account of themselves, and Cambridge has promised that everyone will get a certificate. But to suggest now that exams can take place, it's so difficult to understand how will that possibly be done,
Yeah.
while at the same time realizing that we're in the worst pandemic that the world has faced for a very long time.
Definitely. That is definitely something a lot of persons are speaking about as it is. And how do you still push for students to be in an enclosed environment, given what is happening, not knowing their points of contact, whether they have to use public transportation, who their family members are exposed to, and you're being in an environment where you're going to be in close proximity to other students. And even if you're not sitting very close together, we know that viruses travel in the air and it can survive for some amount of time,
Yeah.
atmosphere as well.
But fortunately that concern's not ours, that's other people. So we want to focus on what we do have some control over.
Yes, quite understand. In terms of the staff members, your teachers, you were saying that you took the time to make sure that you train them. What has
Yeah.
been the feedback for them adapting to this new system?
Very good question, Keon. I mean, like any school, we have a whole range of teachers, some young, dynamic, recently come out of training, others older. You know,
Yeah,
people like myself who technology was not on the agenda when I was a student. I'd only heard of Zoom a couple of weeks ago. Now some of those older people have come back and said how excited they are now that they have become more technological savvy. And now they're introducing all kinds of new methods into their teaching. The other thing that we did as well, Keon, was that we took out over 70 paid subscriptions with Zoom. So we don't have the either cheap or the free one that comes off after 30, 35 minutes. We have unlimited. So it gives us tremendous flexibility, both to have the Zoom class with the students and then for the students to be open later on to contact the teacher directly and say, look, I didn't quite understand that or
yeah,
whatever. So I would say that the teachers have responded brilliantly, and we are extremely proud of them and very grateful because they have taken a whole new methodology and many of them have done an extremely good job of it.
yeah. I can just imagine. And you allude. I didn't want to mention anything about age, so I'm happy you said that about me. But indeed, there were some cries from the teachers themselves that it was difficult for some of them to adopt. So I'm very happy that the teachers at Nations they would have embraced this new way or the new norm using technology, and they
Yeah.
are making the best of it.
You know, Kian, I was interested. There was maybe a couple of weeks ago an article on iNews. It came up the first on when you log into it, and it says online we can't do it. It's impossible. And
Yeah,
I was amazed by that. I mean, such a negative, defeatist attitude.
yeah,
And so by saying it's not possible, what are they saying that they're going to offer to their students?
yeah,
So our teachers, by contrast, said, okay, this is difficult. I don't know anything about it. But now let's take 7 or 8 days over the Easter holiday to learn how to do it and how to get better at it.
yes. So that's it. That's the difference in the mentality. And what I one of the positives from COVID-19 is that it has pushed us, literally and figuratively, pushed us into embracing technology and
Yeah.
really looking at things from a different perspective. And I believe, Dr. Tool, this is going to continue to create or form the new norm, the new way of doing business. And you did mention that one of the opportunities that came from this is an influx of students for the different programs because
Yeah.
they now do it in the comfort of their homes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for example, the ABE program, the Association of Business Executives, I mean, that program has gone well for years. But
Yes.
now all those classes are 100% online, so students don't have to travel. We have students on that program from Berbice, from Essequibo, from Bartica, from Linden. So of course they're delighted. that they
Yes.
don't have to go through the rigors of all of that. But just something else I wanted to share as well, Keon. I had the chance a year and a half ago to go to Turkey, and I met with 90 refugees who had to leave Iran because of their religion. They had been forced out of their homes, forced out of any form of studying. Now we have 28 of them doing AB online with us, and they've been there as refugees for 5 or 6 years, and they are just delighted now to have another opportunity to get out of the isolation that they're in. So it's really a joy to see that Nations and Guyana is reaching out to people who are actually in far worse condition than we are.
Yeah, what I love there is that you're now able to transcend geographic boundaries, of course, through Zoom and technology, which means that there's far more opportunities out there for persons to access our quality education uh, because of technology and because
Yeah.
of what is happening now with COVID.
Yeah, you know, just one other point on that as well, Keon, is I met with 90 of them in a city called Denizli in Turkey about 14 months ago. And a number of those refugees who've been there for 5 or 6 years had made a lot of attempts to get accepted to do master's programs in England, Canada, Australia. It was very difficult for them to get accepted. In
Yeah.
the few cases when they were accepted, the fees were 20 to 25 to 30,000 per year.
Wow.
And they couldn't believe that they can get a master's from University of Bedfordshire through us in public health, psychology, project management, business, education, and a host of others for about $7,000 to $7,700. So it might well be a new model is going to come out of this, where it's not where the poorer parts of the world look to the north,
Yeah.
only to be faced with huge fees. Now it might be much more of a genuine south to south collaboration.
Yeah, that sounds really, really fantastic. Where we can be used as a port for positive things,
Yeah,
which means persons can come to us to access more affordable education so that they can continue to improve their lives and their communities and their country. So I think that's definitely a major, major positive coming out from this Dr. O'Toole. Um, just finally, as we're coming down to the end for interview, what advice would you give Dr. Toole to individuals, maybe students, and even fellow business owners out there?
I suppose the huge challenge we have is not to go under. That so much of the talk now is so negative. People are so depressed that we face the pandemic along with all the uncertainty of these elections that were held. What was it, 2 3 months ago? We still don't know the outcome, and I feel that this is our test. We will either come out of this positively, and we will have learned important messages, or a number of people are going to put up the white flag and collapse. And it's not easy. I know many of our parents are going through tremendous hardships. We Nations has now made 1,200 phone calls to parents and students to find out how they're doing, to
Yeah.
encourage the ones who haven't paid fees to pay fees, because we have not laid off any of our teachers. They're all getting 100% of their salaries. So it's to see how together we can face this mammoth challenge, and to see whether we'll look back on these months with a sense of achievement, or we'll look back on these months and say, well, we threw in the towel just like so many other people have.
Yeah. Quite, that was really, really insightful because it is definitely tough for some more than others. And it's good where we can come together as much as possible to find a strategy and a solution and a way out in all of this. So, Dr. Toole, just finally, is there any current course that is being offered right now that you'd like to share with our listening audience?
Well, many of the courses are continuing their enrollment. The MBA that you know very well, that's ongoing. The Masters in Public Health, Masters in Psychology, Project Management, ABE, pretty well all the courses are ongoing. People can contact us Our numbers are in the book. They can call me at 661-8773, because in all honesty, I think amidst the mess that we're all in, the best thing to do is, after the survival of ourselves and our families, is to invest in education so we come out of this with something positive.
Definitely. So come out better than how we went in. I think that's one of the biggest things that we're also advocating to individuals. Use the time to invest in yourself, to invest in learning a new skill, invest in sharpening your current skills so that you can emerge out of this pandemic, I shouldn't say new, a new version of yourself, so you can become more of an asset wherever you go and whatever you do. Yeah. So thank you very much, Dr. O'Toole. It was a pleasure having this conversation with you. Trust that you stay safe and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Bjorn, and good luck to all of you at Action Coach. Thank you.